Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hey, all.
Couple of things this morning. I'm doing well from the surgery and from my neck issues I had last week, and I went and caught the flu from my granddaughter. So I am going to be muted most of the show, and Steve is going to be leaving here in about 10 minutes. He's got to go to work, so we're going to leave to Jerry and Bill and Dennis to talk with Camron. Caboose 121's with us today. So anyway, I'm gonna let Steve. Can you see the chat?
Yeah, I sure can. Yeah.
Go ahead and do your rundown.
Good morning. Yeah, I gotta go pre-trip my bus, and kids are gonna load up at 7:30, so I'll fly out of here. But anyway, we got a lot of Johns in I've never seen so many Johns in my life. Okay, my buddy Chris Bruges popped in. Good morning, Chris. Thomas Moore. We got Ray Ron VD, Steve Anderson, John Tanzillo, Andy the Hot Dog Pilot, Ghoulkill River Valley, John Rob T-Man. We got Mark Pruitt. Good morning, Mark. JD, Grandpa Rails, how are you? Roy Eltham. Let's see who else we got. I know I missed somebody. Gerald Stewart. Good morning, Gerald. Hey,
Steve
BTS Media.
To get Steve 87.
I got Steve Anderson. Yep, got him. Somebody.
John
But guys, this is the wonderful town of McMinnville, Oregon, the home of the Spruce Goose, which is only about 2 miles away. So that's what I'm going to do this afternoon after I drop my kids off. I got all day.
What is that thing? The Spruce Goose.
Oh, it's
Howard Hughes's biggest wooden airplane ever created, right?
Oh, is that what it is?
crazy big. I think it's huge. So I'm going to be doing that. But anyway, I'm going to
pictures.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I will, definitely. But anyway, good morning, guys. Where is
Okay, so anyway, this morning we got Cameron with us.
Cameron.
I think
What?
where'd he go?
I think Cameron has decided he is still not going to show his face.
You can blame Dennis. You blame yourself on that one.
Hey,
I blame myself.
yeah, we got Allison popped in. Good morning, Allie. Let's see
No.
who else popped in.
I thought it was that ugly looking rail car. What is that thing called?
What's that?
The car that looks like a truck.
Oh, the Spruce Goose is what you're.
I thought that
Not the
was.
spruce. You're thinking of the Galloping Goose.
Galloping Goose, yeah.
Gooses. The gooses.
It's Space Museum. It's got one side is devoted to aircraft, and which is really cool. And then they got a whole section of space stuff. They've got some old Apollo capsules, some old Gemini stuff, and thing is big. I mean, it's huge. And then they've got all the full-size aircraft parked around the museum. They've got a couple 747s and all kinds of fighter jets. It's really cool. Last time I was there was about probably 218, 219. Went with my brother-in-law. They were out here from Florida visiting, so we went up to Portland, and the wives didn't want to go to the Air and Space Museum, and we sure as heck didn't want to go do all the food trucks in Portland. So, we went to the museum, and they went to Portland. We had a good time, but it's really fun. It's a good way to spend the day. And nice thing is I get paid for it because I go on the clock when I pre-trip the bus. I go a block down the road, drop my kids at 7:45, and then I'm done until 5 o'clock when I pick them up and take them home. And that's about a 4.5 hour drive down to Grants Pass. So that's what I'm doing today. It's pouring, typical Pacific Northwest weather. I see the camera moved.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll move it wherever.
Okay. There we go.
There we go. All right. Let's get some of the standard questions out of the way here. What got you started in the hobby, Cameron?
Oh, really, my dad. He had a layout that he was working on in the garage, and then family got in the way, and he had to tear it down. And figured, I'd always wanted to have something just from the little bit seen from it, and was in and out of it, the hobby, and then um, was it 2016? I think is when I started getting back into it full fledged, knowing that I wanted to do it, and so that's pretty much how it all started. Was thanks to my dad.
Hey, Bernard has a question. Are you DC or DCC?
I am DCC.
Gotcha. Now you're in scale, correct?
Correct.
Okay. What's the footprint of your layout, give or take?
The room is 12 by 17 feet.
And are you occupying the entire room or just a section of it?
The entire room.
Okay, cool. And
So
do you have is there a specific era that you're doing or prototype? Tell us a little bit about the railroad itself.
So it's really pretty much freelance. I am using names of towns that are near me for some of the stuff, but for the most part, it's just whatever I kind of wanted. Mainly, I'm sticking more towards Union Pacific and BNSF, but
Ooh, BNSF. Ooh.
I've got the Santa Fe GP60s that pull the road railers. So
Is it all Kato Unitrack?
about 90% of it. The straight runs, well, sorry, Dennis, I don't want to get you sick, but I'll move the camera.
I'll be okay. Yeah, take us around.
So some of the straight runs, like the yard tracks, I went just with flex track,
Right.
mainly for cost. And after I did this section, this kind of area, this was the first expansion off of what I had, I realized that even like the siding areas here, I could get away with doing flex track instead of the track to save a little bit of cost. So I ended up doing that for a good chunk of the straights wherever it wasn't the main line. That was kind of what I decided on. Main line, keep it unitrack, but anything else, flex track would work.
What was your line of thought on that, just out of curiosity? Was it just purely cost or ease of construction with the unitrack?
Kind of both. What started it was really, oh, as I knocked the camera, it was really this section over here. This is a track plan that Model Railroader did called the Salt Lake Route. And I had been looking at it for a little bit and decided that that was what I was going to buy for my layout, and I thought I'd be fine with it. but it's just you can do it with this one sheet of plywood. It's 9 feet by 4 foot at the longer or at that end of it. At the end up here, it's 3 feet. And so I started out with Unitrack. The first little mini layout, I guess, that I had built, I'd used sectional and flex track, and not really having or knowing what resources to be looking at, was just really frustrated with it because trains weren't running on it the way I would expect it to. And so I just said, you know what, I'll just get the Unitrack and go with that. But once I had this built, I realized that I had so much more space down here in the room, and figured that I would go off of, well, we'll come up because this is one scenic spot. Decided to branch off of this little yard spot that they had in the plan and did a Y to go out and around the room.
What is that thing on your left there? Looks like a mountain with a bunch of cutouts.
It is a coal mine.
Okay. So it's like a look inside the coal mine. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
I thought about doing something very similar to that on mine.
So some of the design elements changed, of course, over time. I originally just had over here where that the New River Mine kit is at. I had the furniture plant or whatever it is, and I got looking, and my dad had bought that New River mining kit, and I wanted to put it somewhere, and I really hadn't decided what I was going to do over there, and just changed it around and thought that having a mine would be kind of cool. I forgot to hook up the lights, but I've got LEDs that are in there, and I just took 1-inch foam and routed out each level where it's at. You can kind of see left maybe about a 1/4 inch to the foam that I cut and just stacked it up, and figured that would be something a little different to see, as it's kind of the first thing you see walking into the layout room.
Yeah, I like that. It draws your eye right to it.
Look, it looks like you've got a fair amount of the layout completed. How long have you been working on it?
You had to ask me the hard question. I think I started in 2018 and just kept going with it. Yeah, because the expansion happened pretty much right there during 2020 with the lockdown and that. So, but yeah, for the most part, the track is laid and ready to go, and is how I want it to be. There is one last piece that I plan to expand on, but it isn't. That's going to have to wait a little bit to do. So,
Tell us a little bit about your helix and new staging yard.
no, okay. So, there's a little bit of inception. The plan was always to have this spot come off and go into staging, just because even though I am modeling the modern era, I do like running,
Oh,
some
you got some
steamers
steam?
every now and then.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I am, using JMRI ops and wanted to have trains that I could just pull out and not have to worry about what was where or where I needed to put cars back to with that. And so I'd always planned to have that line go back and go down underneath the layout, but didn't plan that I needed a lot more space and clearance to get my hand in to fix anything or to even place anything on the tracks. And ended up building a small helix for it. It's not that, it's about a 1.5 turn, if that. I don't know how much of it will be able to be seen.
And you built it after the fact underneath what was already existing there, correct?
Correct. Don't ever do that. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. So you can't really see too much in there. It is kind of messy, and it is because I didn't want mini curves. It's 4% in a lot of spots, but being modern, it isn't weird, at least for me, to see, 2, 3, even up to 5 engines pulling stuff. So it's, if it doesn't work, back down, add another engine, and go back up. So, but everything that I've tried to pull, I've been able to pull with 3 engines without any issues. So,
What's your
but
grade? 4% is your high steepest?
yes,
Okay.
I think it does level out in a few spots, and so I think that helps as well to kind of break up. But it also is an oval, kind of like what Sparky's is. Trying to think.
Yeah, oval is the way to go if you've got the space. Is that a single track? I'm watching off of my cell phone, so I can't really see the detail.
So yeah, on the Helix, it's just single track. Everywhere else, it's double track mainline. But once I got done, and of course, you're not going to be able to see it. I know you're not.
Yeah, that must have been a pain to do all that.
Luckily, I have a chair that I was able to, or my benchwork height is also 52 inches. I think
At
it's
the
52.
top?
It's something like that. Yeah, at the top.
Okay.
So I had plenty of room that I could be down underneath building
Right.
it
Yeah.
and not be too cramped. And even underneath, I ended up I have a chair that just fits perfectly under there. And I can sit under there, do the wiring or whatever, and not even have to worry about it.
That's
But
cool.
we'll do it this way.
So your
I
building
ended up,
it in place, it looks good. Good construction.
Mhm.
thank you. So I did end up using, you can kind of see it back there, some metal braces through the spots because I did
Yeah.
cut out essentially J's. And then you can, let me get my finger in there. I ended up having to cut the supports that I had, and I just used some thicker metal bracing to stop that or to just reinforce it.
I kind of like this type of helix more than oval type, a traditional, like, you know what I mean. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know, they look more natural, I think. You see it, but you
So-
don't. Yeah.
And then as far as the staging goes, I don't know how much.
What's your staging level at? How high is that?
I don't know.
Some like 40 inches, something like that.
Yeah, it's about 40. If I remember, yeah, because I went down a foot
Yeah.
or something like that. So, but it allows me to have.
You have a lot of rolling stock.
Oh, yeah, and that's not even all of it. It's
How long
bad.
you been working on this? How long you been working on this?
Oh, the layout itself, 2019-ish, or just
You
slightly
accomplished
before.
a lot. Yeah, you did a lot in a short time.
Mhm.
But the collecting, it was back in 2016.
Yeah.
I got really lucky in a couple of ways. Um, there was one guy that was getting out of the hobby, and I was able to buy his collection really cheaply, and
That helped.
so
Yeah.
that helped out a ton. A lot of these well cars came from that.
Right.
A lot of the engines he had were DCC ready Katos, so it was just a matter of
Oh, that's
popping
cool.
the decoder in. And then 2 years ago, there was a club member of the club that I'm in, due to some health reasons, needed to downsize, and he had just, I swear he bought one of everything that ever came out in Ensco, and just told the club, hey, come take what you want, pay or buy, take what you want, pay me what you feel is appropriate, and we'll call it good. I want it. I want the stuff going to people that are going to use it. And
So Claude wants to know, did you paint the backdrops yourself?
yes,
They did a good job. They look good.
Yeah.
So your layout pretty much is Utah?
pretty much.
Yeah.
It pulls a lot of elements from it, but a lot of it is just kind of whatever I wanted to do as well.
Right.
So,
Do you do like an Echo Canyon,
um,
a version of it, or?
not really. The only thing that sparks from Echo Canyon is the swing gate.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get over
Like
there
that's
without.
there on the other side there with looks like a bridge. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll pull the camera over there after this, but
Yeah.
this is kind of loosely based off of Echo. There's the bridges up in there. I think only one of them is painted silver. The rest of them are painted that kind of teal green, maintenance away green. And there is a spot where it kind of breaks out like how it is there, but just kind of same thing of like there's design elements from it, but not anything that is the same as it. And we're at in Utah. I'm up in northern Utah, so it's kind of where where I'm kind of taking inspiration from.
Would you say you're pretty much done with the major work of your layout?
No,
No?
so
Never done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like construction, like it's how it's
Is
going
the
to
track
be.
is the track plan complete?
Yeah, it's just track.
The original track plan, yes. There's more that is coming, and it sparked from uh, the big thing is I wanted to have my two kind of wants was a main line that I could run trains, and I wanted to do operations. And as I got kind of more familiar with people in the area, I realized that it was a lot more entertaining and more fun to have multiple people here operating. And when I was kind of looking at that, I realized that, of course, it's kind of hard to, oh, there we go. This side of the layout is just all scenery, and there's another space that I can have an operator. And so over on the staging where that block's at, it's going to curve around and come underneath and over underneath this spot. There'll be a little switching area that people can just sit in the chair and do switching out there, and then go back up and whatnot. So that
Oh,
is
wow.
the last construction piece that I'll be doing, but I've got a lot of work and not really work, but some planning that I've got to do, like with the bench work of the Salt Lake route. I do need to cut down the fascia to about half in order to make it work. But
Will you cut it
yeah,
down in place? Will you cut it in place?
yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
move. I'll be as careful as I can and just
Right.
chop it off and call it good.
Yeah.
Mainly because a lot of the scenery in that is kind of glued in or holding the fascia as well. And it's
Can't pull it off.
either deal with some sawdust down
Yeah.
here and be careful, or potentially ruin a lot of the scenery.
Yeah, you can do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
Where's your military train?
Yeah, some of it. I put that out just for you.
Yeah. Tell everybody about that military train.
I don't know what to tell about it. I
That
found
you
a guy.
printed everything on it. That you printed everything.
Yeah, so I had wanted to do a tank train for a long time. Shermans are one of my favorite tanks. And when I first was doing it, it was just way too expensive to do tanks. And I found a 3D model that, excuse me, I could scale to VN scale and look good, and printed out a bunch of them and popped them on the cars.
I think they're Shermans, right? Sherman tanks?
For the most part. I
Yeah.
ended up doing a full, no, I can't remember the terminology. I think it's a full company, or just about a full company. So I've got some Lees, some Stewarts, and then half tons, the half tracks, deuce and a halves, and stuff like that.
Bernard wants to know if you have kids.
No,
No kids, Bernard.
it'd be really hard to have all of this with kids.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a cool layout. I really like your layout.
So, how many trains do you run at once?
For the most part, 4.
Nice.
I like to have, like I said, that was the You know, I wanted to have the main line running, so we'll see if we can get.
So
this
those
turn
trains,
so you can see.
the trains on the left, is that your main line?
That is the inside main line,
Okay, and then you got your outside.
and then
Is the whole thing double line?
yes. So it's essentially there's a layout inside of a layout, and so the inner part, like on the left, this is all separate from the outer loop. So I've got essentially two main lines of two each, and I can just have the four trains running around in circles.
So they never cross over onto the others, right?
No, not unless I run them out on over the Y and take them
Okay,
out that way.
gotcha.
Right. You can go into the other section of either. It's just that you can align the turnouts in such a way that they can be operated independently of each other. Is that how it works?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
That's
Gotcha.
pretty cool. Yeah, that's good thinking.
That makes it fun with N scale, where you can just run a number of trains and sit back and enjoy just rail fanning.
Yeah, and that's partly why I'd gone with the Salt Lake route, is mainly because of the, to begin with, and it just, it was, I want to keep that double main line. Excuse me. When I keep the double main line, and it's also what I, see around here. So, and yes, I have all of the Union Pacific Heritage units, and that is the Western Pacific that's going around.
Do you have a track plan on paper?
I
Like,
do.
can you see like an overview of your entire layout somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me 2 seconds.
it'd be cool to see it because it's hard to like tie it all together.
Okay.
Yeah, so like today, Container Man had a video of Echo Canyon. I've never seen it, and it's just so pretty,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just amazing how gorgeous it is to see that
Cameron,
area.
don't you do some rail fanning there on occasion, or have I got you
Yeah,
confused with somebody else who does that?
no,
No,
he
that's
does.
me.
Okay.
That is
Yeah.
that's my go-to place
Yeah.
for rail fanning, just because, yeah, it is beautiful, and um, it's only 30 minutes away.
It's hysterically.
Uh-oh.
I think he's going to share,
Oh, did it?
but yeah.
It brought. Oh, well, I don't know why it did that. Let's see.
So Cameron belongs to a N-Scale club as well.
I think I knocked the USB cable just enough to cause issues. So hopefully that works out. The screen sharing.
Yeah, you have a little bit of everything going on. Your main industry, what would it be? Containers and coal?
Pretty much grain,
Grain?
containers. So there's I need to tweak the coal a little bit to get it to work right. Just because it's not in the it isn't in the normal rotation of my operations, but I do have a lot of coal cars that I can run around. I do should say, as far as like operating on the layout, it's mainly grain, boxcars, oil or tank cars, and a couple of flat cars. Um, Mainly the coal, I haven't got it rotated in quite right yet. And the containers, it's just kind of a through train. Just take it out, run it whenever.
So when you're doing operations, do you use like a card system, computer system to generate where your freight's going, or is it just sort of, hey, this one needs 2 cars today?
So when I was first starting, it was that just hey, this needs 2 cars or whatever, and take it out. Um, I used I took some index cards and wrote on it, this this industry needs this car or whatever, and I found that I was kind of cheating and just like, oh, I don't want to do this one, and would choose something easier.
Yeah.
And so I got looking and decided to go with JMRI, mainly because I was already using it for, uh, linking the layout to the computer and whatnot. And I've operated with on a layout that has car cards, and they're great, and I don't have anything, or I think it's okay for some people. For me, I didn't want to have that, and that kind of really, my aisle ways are as kind of tight as it is, and I didn't want anything else protruding off the bench work, for holding the car cards.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that I don't have any trains built, that I had noticed was that I could pull up the operations part of JMRI on my phone, and I was able to find some tablets that were really cheap from, and they're just Amazon Fire tablets, and ended up that I just put, oh, glare's going to be horrible. I don't have any trains built, but when there's a train built, you'll have your switch. It's just a switch list essentially. It has the area or the industry that you're at. No, the area that you're at, the industries and tracks that will be switched to, and it's just oh, there we go. Maybe it won't. Yeah, of course it's not going to work out. But it's just here, and you do the checkbox and move to the next spot.
And
It's
that
really,
makes it. That makes
really
it.
So
easy.
you can, so
Yeah.
you can actually, I forget what the term is in JMRI, but if you're in a specific location and you've done the work that needs to be done in that location, you can then hit the move button again and then move on to the next location on your fire tablet. Is that how I'm understanding you?
Yep. Let me
Gotcha.
That's
just.
pretty cool.
That was a quick thing.
See, I am not currently connected with JMRI when I operate. I'm using operations, but I'm just printing the piece of paper and putting it on a clipboard. What is your interface to JMRI?
Just the NCE USB thing.
Okay.
So, man, I've got working in IT. I have weird stuff every now and then that I decide I need to upgrade because it's running too slow, and have a second router and access point that just controls the layout things, or just the layout. So
Is
the
that
tablets
because,
and that connect to it, and leave it that.
is that because your layout's so big?
No. The main thing is, for me, security.
Okay.
I don't really. I care, but I don't care whoever's connected to my network. But at the same time, I don't want the computer I'm using is also an old Windows 7 device, and I really don't want that putting on my network that something could, there could be an attack on it because it is unsecured. And so I just have it separated off, and it's not even, if I ever need to update anything on it, I download it on the thumb drive and
Is
move it over.
is JMRI something that you need to be concerned about, like for things like that?
No, it's not JMRI that I'm concerned about. It's more Windows 7.
Okay, gotcha.
It's that this is the other double-edged sword of being in IT. I worry about that weird stuff that
Right.
probably doesn't need to be overly, well, I'm not going to say that. You should always be worried about
Right,
attacks on a device. But I just know that Windows 7 has been out of life for so
right.
long that.
It's vulnerable.
Mm-mm. So let's see if we can do this. I built up a train real quick.
So is JMRI, is it worth getting involved in with a small switching layout?
I think so,
Yeah.
personally.
Yes and no. If you are anything like me, in that you're going to do easiest things, then I would say yes. If you have enough self-control to change things and be honest, then I mean,
That's
again,
not me.
it's just yourself.
Yeah,
But
it's not me. Yeah. I get you.
so let's just go. I hurried and built a train quick, and this is all that it is. You pick up and just move to your next spot once you have all of the cars picked up. And so, like in this case, we'll go for a trip and see what. Hopefully, things. Oh, too far. Sorry. Like in this case, it wants me to pick up the very back car. Actually, both of them, they're back there. And because it is set up with the program, if I don't move those, then stuff will get messed up, and I'm going to have to go back in and find out where the cars are supposed to be and move them there. And so for me, I enjoy that aspect of it, in that it will really, it, makes it be random and,
Right.
Also different degrees of difficulty.
You're not picking your favorites and,
Right.
go to your favorite places and Yeah, you're doing obscure things and random things that sometimes you might not feel comfortable doing.
Or one thing that I had a friend over, and he was switching out this area.
That's your grain facility? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep. And for whatever reason, Jam or I decided that he needed a 20 car long chain, and there was no real easy way to get cars out that he needed. So he ended up just breaking the consists on the locomotives and did that. So there's something where you can, there's, it also adds kind of a strategic, a strategy puzzle as well as to, okay, how am I going to do this without, being unprototypical? And so that was something that I hadn't realized or hadn't thought of when I was building the layout and the kind of the how I wanted to do my operations. And so that was cool to have him be here and do something different that was like, oh, I can use that in the future. So,
I like how you got your tanks guarding your grain facility. It's nice. It's
yeah,
good.
those are what kind of started me down the path was I was given a couple of tanks. It was like twin packs of kits that had 2 tanks in them, and so I built them and realized that those two were a little too modern than the rest of the tanks. And I figured if I built them, why not just put them out?
Yeah, might as well.
So Cameron, what do you use for your turnout control?
Right now, it's all hands. Just do it by hand.
You got a lot of turnouts too.
What I'll I take that back. There is 2 switch machines, and they're not switch machines in the sense of like a tortoise or that. It's just the Cotto version of it
Yeah, I saw them over there.
because
Can't reach it.
I don't know if it'll how nice this is going to be,
Yeah,
but there's a crossover there on the left, and then the
yeah,
switch right after it.
yeah.
That's part of the Y, and some
It's a little hard
bright,
to.
intelligent person decided to put a mountain right in front of him. So
This
it's
makes it
kind
a
of
challenge.
whoops. Well, and I've already broken. I can't remember which one. I think it's one of the top 2 spots of the uh, head house over there. So yeah.
That area to the right there of the Y that appears to me to be unscenic. Is it the way you want it, or have you got plans for doing something in there? Or
So the inner piece of the Y, there's my finger. So that has scenery to it, but this spot, I had originally thought of putting a dilapidated grain silo, because I did what is it, the model railroad build off or whatever Walter's thing is. Was it 2 years ago? And they had a bunch of grain stuff, and I wanted to do kind of a dilapidated old scene, and so that's what I did. And I thought, oh, I'll just repurpose the buildings after the contest and put them over here, but I just can't bring myself to tear them off of the little diorama. And so I haven't quite decided what is going to be in that spot. I need to do a little bit more, like even here, I need to blend it in a little better with whatever I'm doing. So,
And it's okay if there's nothing there.
yeah. And so I may just get some dirt and that's
Yeah.
have the road, have a road through it because I do have there's a crossing right there. But
Most of your trees are just in your background mostly, right? Like you don't have a lot of trees on your layout. Is there not a lot of trees out there?
after building the 80, no, there's more than 80. However many I've made of the
Yeah.
pine trees, I just got burned out, and so I
Yeah.
stopped.
Understand.
So I have of them. Like, where's that? Come on,
Yeah, I see them in the corner there.
here, there on the corner.
Right.
And then
Do you guys have forests out there?
what was that?
Do you have forests of trees
Oh yeah, yeah.
in Utah? Yeah. Okay.
It's mainly pine trees though, so
Yeah.
that's why. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's mix of everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
and whatnot, but it's mainly the ones that I would go camping in when I was younger were mainly pine. So, but yeah,
You got good track work because your trains are running really good.
yeah, for the most part. So this was my. I'll share this because it's it's local, and I did a video on it. Well, kind of on it. But this is the Lairline cash mine, if I remember.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's
Kit.
Yeah.
This is my first wood kit that I built.
Who produces that kit?
Lairline.
Say again.
Good.
Blair. Blair
Oh,
line.
Blair. Gotcha.
If you search cash mine, it'll come up. But it's actually based on a place that is local. I don't know if I want to get this picture in here though. Oh, it's way too big.
Boy, I've never been to Utah. I've only been to Utah with you.
Yeah. So this was up in Park City, Utah, the place that
That's
they do
cool.
the.
That's a cool picture.
Yeah, this is what before it burned down.
Is it also a mill or is it just a mine?
So they had everything. This is actually their ore house that was in, well, it's now Main Street, Park City. It had a mysterious fire, and it was pretty run down from the pictures I saw of it. I wasn't even born yet when it burned, but I did a video on it. It came out, I can't remember, last summer. It's one of the rail fan canyon therapy things, but you can still get up into you can walk around in the mill, and it's massive. It's like I think it's a 7-story mill.
How many stamps?
I shouldn't tell you because everything's just like torn out of it, and that. And I haven't done a whole lot of research
Of
on
course,
it.
I guess it might not be a stamp mill. I think there's more than one way to mill it than stamping it.
Yeah, I think a lot of this was just like the chemical version or the chemical way of doing it.
Okay.
I know there was like a grinder to it, and that's still, I think that was still there, but they're actually looking to kind of help restore that. And just across the way is the head frame and head house, but reasonably so. They've locked it up because it's right in the middle of a ski run, and I people just like to fall into 1,500 feet holes for some reason, but
That's not good.
so yeah. But anyway, that's the layout and some of the stuff behind it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody's got any more questions, we got about 3 or 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask Cameron something?
I think I had all the questions that I had written down. I think I got asked.
So Cameron, what'll be your next project on there?
That's a good question.
That expansion spot,
Underneath.
but that is I've got some other projects I'm working on, so that's kind of the back seats project right now. So, but I do want to try and get that so that I can get one more operator here. But yeah, that's the next plan. But as far as like non-project on it, I do want to get some people over and operate on it, see what I can change on there to make better. And
Yeah, Cameron's pretty involved in his club too, so he does a lot of work over there, building modules, designing them.
yeah, I'm currently working on a 12-foot yard, so that'll be fun.
So
Oh
that's
yeah,
just,
there's
Yeah, cool.
Oh, nice.
wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
there's the overview of the top. So
Yeah, that's a lot of fun right there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, I didn't see that till just now. Trying to put it up earlier.
oh no, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right. We saw. Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of railroad for a 12 by 17 room for sure.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, you managed to squeeze in a lot. It's a big area, but yeah.
Is that the hidden staging?
that's the hidden staging, and then one of the ideas I've been toying with a bunch for the next expansion part. So we'll see.
Nice.
But yeah, just time, money, and all that fun stuff that
Yeah, the usual suspects.
is in a little bit of a short supply.
Is your bridge a lift out? Was it just fold
It's a swing gate.
swing?
Okay.
So it's on like a bottom hinge.
I've got it on the. I'll have to pull it down a little bit. Just there on the right by those wires.
Oh, okay, so it swings in.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I've got 2 barrel locks on it.
Gotcha.
One going up and down, and the other going horizontal.
Right.
That way, it doesn't move left to right or up and down when it's locked.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a little. I think I can't remember where I saw it, but I read that it's good to put a shelf on the opposite side of the hinge because it helps keep the hinge from warping in that.
Yeah,
So,
the way your hinge is not supporting the other end of the bridge.
right.
Yeah, that's it. Doesn't matter if it's a swing or a lift up. You need that support on the opposite side of the hinge.
Yep.
What made you go with a swing bridge versus a lift up?
I didn't want to have to store the lift out anywhere when it was being kind of, well, that's not entirely true. I didn't even really think about a lift out. I kind of had seen the swing gates, and thought that it would work a little better for me,
Yeah,
just to get partly just because of how long it is. Because I think it's about 3 feet long, and so I kind of felt like that would probably be the best option. And then that way I don't have, a 3 foot bridge that's, well, where do I, if I want to get in and out or that,
Yeah,
what
it's
do I
hard
do
to.
with it with a lot of guests? So,
Makes sense.
well, excuse me, guys. That's our hour. Thanks, Cameron, for coming on and showing us your layout.
Thanks, Cameron.
Definitely. Thank you.
And
Hey, Claude. Thanks for being a trooper.
hey, well, it broke up some monotony for me.
Yeah. Hope you feel better.
I'm sure I will. Just get this. It'd be nice to get back to normal for a change. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Everybody in chat, good to see you.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Guys, Dennis and Jerry and Bill and
Yep.
Cameron, y'all have a good week.
Yep. Everybody have a good week.
Take care, all.
We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, hopefully I'll be a little bit better by then. Anyway, see you guys later.
Yep. Take care.
Take care, everybody.